Welcome to Healthy Pets, Healthy Owners. I'm Dr. Edmund Sulkowski, and this show is going to the dogs and cats today, one of my favorite topics. Let's welcome from Pet Search the founders, Kent Knight and his wife Sherry Knight, and sitting next to Sherry is Jane Ann Vittone, and Jane Ann is a wife of our district attorney, Washington County, Gene, who's been on our show a number of times. And I invited them here to talk about what they're doing for animal rescue. It's such an important topic, and we're inundated with stray dogs and cats and people giving up their dogs and cats. And this wonderful organization, Pet Search, and it's petsearchpa.org if you want to go online and look at their website, is doing to find homes for these animals that are in need. So welcome, everyone.
Thank you. Welcome.
You.
Thank you for having us.
It's always a pleasure. You were on the radio show Healthy Pets, Healthy People this past weekend, and I had such a wonderful response from people saying what a wonderful show it was. So everybody's appreciating the wonderful job that you're doing.
Thank you.
Great.
So how did Pet Search begin?
Well, my wife and I were volunteering for another animal rescue group, and we felt that there was a better way of doing it. There were some issues, and so we decided to be an all-volunteer organization. So we have no paid employees. It's all volunteer, and it's a home fostering base.
So you don't have a facility like say the Humane Society. You're finding temporary homes when you take in these animals, and you call those foster care homes. Is that correct?
Right, Joey? Yep.
Yeah, well, let's identify who we have here. You have...
This is Joey. He is a three-legged male.
Very talkative cat.
Very talkative, but also very mobile, as you can see.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect him that he does have one leg that was amputated due to an injury. But he's a very sweet boy. Very good boy.
And then Sherry has?
This is Bailey. Bailey and her brother Barnum. Okay. They did not have names when they really came to us. They were owner surrenders because of an eviction. And so we were contacted, and we were able to take both of them and put them into foster care.
And then Jane Ann has?
This is Damien, and Sherry will have to...
Damien was first of all, a stray with another dog, and we were able to locate the owner who signed them over to us that did not want them.
A stray meaning they were just let loose and they were roaming around.
Yeah, he was running around 84 Scenery Hill area with another dog. And we were able to, once again, through Facebook, social media, find the owner, find out where the owner was who no longer wanted them. And so they were able to come into our program.
And of course I have Tucker here with his head tucked under my arm here like he always does. He's camera shy sometimes, I think. So when you speak of having a foster home and being in foster care, what does that exactly mean?
Okay. Well, for our organization, a foster home means that it is a family, an individual that is willing to take in a pet for a period of time, short or long term, strays, owner surrenders, unwanted, abused, taken in by our humane police officer, which is Kent, into their home where they're kept with a family, in a family environment, socialized, loved, cared for, vetted, fully vetted, while we try to find a suitable and appropriate home for that family. We like to call ourselves matchmakers, because since we get to know the personality and temperament of the animal, we feel that we can help families make a better choice in what they're looking for with a pet.
And Jane Ann, you operate as a volunteer for Pet Search,
Yes.
and in fact you've had the same situation where you're a foster care parent for some of these animals. Tell us some of the things that go on being a foster care parent.
Well, when you first get an animal, you're never quite sure what you're getting. Sometimes we have a good background, sometimes we don't. But you just welcome the animal in and treat them as a member of your family. And some of the ones that have been possibly abused or just not well socialized, it takes a little while before they learn the routine of a family and a normal home life. But they usually come around very quickly.
Because you're giving them the food that they require plus the love that they need.
Right. And we like doing the foster home thing. I mean, anybody, in a shelter, they're getting their food and their water and medical care, but it's the love and snuggling on the couch at night that builds a bond, and you learn to what likes and dislikes your animal has, whether they thrive on the chaos of a busy house or whether they would prefer a quieter house with no children. That way we can find the best match.
Yeah, and dogs are individuals, and cats are as well. And so some of them get along with kids, some of them don't. Some of them get along with other animals, dogs, and some of them don't. And I know that you have pets of your own. And so have you had any challenges when you've brought in some of the rescue dogs?
My dogs are pretty receptive to new kids. They seem to understand that they come in. I have a coonhound mix that's gets a little funny about other female dogs. Some she likes and some she doesn't. But usually once I have them there for a few days, she adjusts. She learns that they're supposed to be there, and they usually end up playing within a few days.
That's a big dog, coonhound. My sister had one. Yeah, they're nice animals. So how did you become involved with Pet Search?
I don't remember exactly where it was, but it was a festival, and I ran in. I've always been an animal lover, and I saw the Pet Search booth, and I remember talking to Kent. He probably doesn't even remember it, a long time ago.
Actually, I do, because it was actually Gene gave me his business card with her phone number on it to contact her, because he says, my wife's an animal lover, she's a nut, she loves animals, you need to get her involved in your organization. And it was actually Cecil, the Cecil Indian Summer Festivals, where I first had a chance to talk to Gene about it. Yes.
So when you founded Pet Search, how did you go about finding people to become foster parents and providing a foster care home?
Again, as volunteers, you bring the volunteers in, and at that time, social media wasn't as active as it is now. This was back in the late 80s, early 90s. So it was more through advertising on radio and television and newsprint mainly. To get people to be interested in Pet Search, and as they became members and they told us their desires as far as being a foster home, what their limitations are, then we try to match up what they're looking for and within their limitations and what we have available.
So you have certain requirements that have to be met before you become a foster
Oh, definitely,
home.
definitely.
Could you kind of highlight some of those for us?
Sherry?
Okay. Well, once again, we're always looking for foster homes. And the way that I have found a lot of foster homes, first of all, has been going to vets. When you're taking an animal that you've rescued to a veterinarian, there's people that are sitting in the waiting room, and you start talking to them, and they have rescued their dog or their cat, or it's a stray animal that they're bringing in to get vet checked, and it's like then you start this whole dialogue, about rescuing and things like that. And you're doing this, on your own, out of your own pocket. Have you thought about, joining a organization where we can help you out financially? So that has been quite beneficial. Going to different events, those sorts of things has always helped, because you always run into animal lovers, and that's just that when you have animals at events, the people that love animals are going to gravitate to that area. For a foster home, first of all, we do have a foster home information sheet. We call it an application. It's really not an application, it's just more to get information regarding somebody that is interested in being a foster home, to make sure that we can match up the appropriate pet for that particular home.
Because someone could be in a small apartment and could handle a little dog like Tucker, but you wouldn't want to take Damien and put Damien in that environment. He needs a yard to run in and so forth.
Exactly. Or, maybe, they have dogs that are dominant. So we need to put in a dog, if they want to foster dogs, maybe a dog that has a passive personality, that is a little more submissive. If they have children, we want to make sure that we're putting a dog into that foster home or a cat in that foster home that would be child friendly. So, we want that kind of information. Of course, we do want to talk to them. We want to meet their pets. We want to make sure that their pets are inoculated before we're introducing, a new pet into their home. We like fenced-in yards. We know not everybody has that luxury. So, of course, how are you going to keep the animal, confined, restrained from getting out in traffic, those sorts of things.
So before the dogs go or the cats go into the foster care home, you provide the medical care that they require.
Absolutely, yes.
And spay and neutering is involved in that.
Yes. And once again, for some of them that are puppies and kittens that are too young, they will stay in a foster home until we are able to get them done. And then they move out. Some of our foster homes, like Jane Ann, has been long-term.
Yeah,
So,
that was going to be, you're reading my mind here, because my next question was going to be directed to Jane Ann. What was the longest time that you've had a foster dog?
I had Stormy for almost, I think it was close to 10 months.
10 months?
Yeah.
So that was probably very difficult for you to let Stormy go.
That one was tough.
Yeah.
It was very hard. But I do keep in touch with her owner, and she's doing very well in her new home. And she's coming back for a weekend next month for me to dog sit her. So,
Yeah, they steal your heart. Once they do that, it's hard to let go.
Yeah.
and there is definitely a bonding, not just with that pet, but when that pet leaves you, you have, in many cases, you have a lifelong friend because you have something in common, which is now that pet that has been adopted. So for a lot of our foster homes, they are a resource for that new family, for questions, concerns, just wanting to talk. And in many cases, such as Jane Ann, or with us, we just babysat Butters, which is a basset hound, for a week while her family was on vacation. So she came and stayed with us for a week.
Nice.
And families like that.
How many foster homes do you have working right now?
We generally have anywhere from 35 to 40 active foster homes.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Some are just cats, some are just dogs, and then like myself and ourselves and Jane Ann, we do both.
Ah. So where do most of the animals come from? And anybody can answer that.
Well, a variety of ways. Strays that come through animal control.
So those are
sometimes.
abandoned dogs or neglected dogs?
They're
that
just
let
running
loose?
strays, through the neighborhood and through animal control. Again, they go pick them up, and when they need to get them into someplace permanent after the hold time, they'll contact us and we'll take them. Owner surrenders, where they are moving, relocating, cannot take the animal with us. And then the worst case scenario is when an owner passes and we have to take that animal in. We have one now that the owner passed, and trying to find a new home for it. And the animal's going through a grieving time, and
Sure.
we're trying to give the animal as much time as possible. And with our organization, that's indefinite. We keep the animals until they're placed. So there's never a chance of any of our animals being euthanized for not being able to find a home. It's the only time an animal is ever euthanized by our organization is when it is recommended by a vet because of illness or injury.
Yeah. Some of the societies that to say they're no kill actually kind of circumvent that a little bit, because if it's an aggressive dog, that's a death sentence.
Right.
And
they're done off site.
Right.
yeah.
And that's just it. When people say, "Are you no kill?" and I said, there was really no organization, there's no animal group that can say they're 100% no kill. They can say that maybe they don't euthanize on their property or in their facility, which gives them a little bit of leeway, maybe not always honest. But I tell people, if you are going to be truly a humane rescue, there will be times that that decision needs to be made, not by us, it's made by a veterinarian.
Yeah.
So for example, on our way here, we had to stop at Brush Run Veterinary Hospital right down the street, and Brush Run is very nice and works with us. And I dropped off a feral cat this morning that was trapped Sunday evening. We are working in a colony that we cleaned up 5 years ago, and it was a very healthy colony, and we were able to spay and neuter and release everybody back there. This time around, it is not a healthy colony. We've trapped 9. 7 of those 9 had to be euthanized because of leukemia and AIDS. and now we have a male cat there that we took in that is sickly, and they will make that decision that if it is leukemia AIDS positive, we won't release it back out to that colony, because for cats that are there that are healthy, they'll just end up getting sick also.
I know pit bulls are a problem for rescue agencies. Do you take in pit bulls?
Yes, quite a few, as a matter of fact. And I will say this, in our 35 years of being a rescue organization, we've only ever had to have one animal put down because of aggression. And I think that's a pretty good track record going forward. Most cases, it's not the animal, it's the training, and it's where the animal came from. We have gotten quite a few from the greater Pittsburgh area, which in some areas of Pittsburgh is not necessarily gentle to that type of animal. And we've been able to turn quite a few that I won't say were aggressive. They had aggressive tendencies. And
I don't think that's the breed. I actually think it's what people do to bring that about. Because I've known some pit bulls that they're strong animals, but they're the most gentle dogs.
Right.
most loving.
Yeah.
They were originally the nanny dog. They were titled the nanny dog because back when farmers had their children out in the fields, the dogs were there to protect the children from game. You know, could be cougars, mountain lions, wolves. You know, aggressive animals. The American Staffordshire Terrier, which is actually what a pit bull is, and there is no such thing as a pit bull, and they were there to protect the children.
Yeah.
And they're very, very loyal to their owners. And the reason they got the name pit bull is because they found out that because of their jaws, the way they were designed, they could lock, and they were put in a pit to fight. They were fighting dogs. They were trained to fight.
Yeah.
So they got the nickname pit bulls, unfortunately.
Right.
You know, we had a situation where two Amstaffs, pit bulls, were taken out of a situation in one of the suburbs of Allegheny County, and it was a drug house. So therefore, the police went in, raided, took everybody out, and then contacted Sable Kennels, which is animal control for the majority of the municipalities in Allegheny County, and says, there's 2 dogs in this drug house, and you need to go get them. And so once again, once their hold time was up, then Lady and Atari came to us. Lady has been placed. She was placed quite a while ago. Atari is still with us. He bears a lot of scars of being a bait dog. Very gentle, wonderful with people, good with small female dogs, not good with males.
So there goes that testing to see how these
Exactly.
dogs get along, and then placing them
Exactly.
properly.
And
So
once
there-
again, we know why Atari is not good with male dogs, because once again, he's got scars on his face, on his chest, on his legs. You know, very evident that he was used for fighting, and therefore he's not going to tolerate a male dog, because
there's
that's
a-
what he would have been done.
There's a home for him. You just have to wait and find
Exactly.
the right home.
There is the right home out there for him. And until that is found, he will stay with us. And he's been with us now. It will be coming up on a year at the end of the month.
So how do you fund all of this?
Through fundraising.
Fundraising?
We do, actually this past Sunday, there is a carnival at South Point, and we were the charity of choice for this. There was a lot of different vendors and food booths and so forth there. They were at all kinds of basically family-oriented events going on. And that was a very nice one. We have 4 rabies clinics a year. We have 2 in Canonsburg and 2 in Washington.
So
And
this is where anybody can bring their dogs to be vaccinated?
Exactly. They can bring their dogs for not only rabies, but any vaccinations, dogs and cats. We also do microchipping there, and microchipping is very important for your animals because it's a permanent form of identification. It can never be lost. That's another way to fund. And we also feel ourselves as an organization that is community oriented by having these what we call rabies plus clinics. we're able to keep animals legal with their shots, because it was in the paper not that long ago that the state dog wardens and animal control are going to be making sure all dogs had their rabies shots. And we're able to make sure these especially farm dogs that don't get to the vet that often, are legal.
And that's the only state requirement is rabies as far as
That's correct.
vaccinations go.
For our dogs and cats over the age of 3 months. We also offer lots of other community services. Pet Search has been out to multiple elementary schools talking to pre-K students because, of course, May being, Pets Month, Be Kind to Pets Month, National Dog Rescue Dog Day was yesterday. So there's a lot of different things dealing with dogs or pets during the month of May. So of course, we're getting a lot of phone calls from the elementary schools, and we've been able to take, puppies out to the elementary schools, pre-K kids, talk about just a little bit of basic, pet care, about how to approach new dogs, how to handle dogs and those sorts of things. And we do a program that's about anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes for the children. We also offer pet therapy. We have volunteers that go to different nursing homes, senior citizens, assisted living facilities with pets, and take them so the residents can spend a little bit of time with a pet. Maybe they have a pet, maybe they've not had a pet, and they want just a little bit of extra TLC.
So your range is Washington County, Allegheny County.
Greene County, some Fayette County, Westmoreland. Basically,
You're
what we
reaching
call
out there.
try.
Yes.
We try.
Yeah.
Western Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
We started out just, Washington, and we've reached out that we have foster homes in multiple counties.
I know there was a big thing that happened with abuse for dogs, and maybe Jane Ann could tell us about that. The Gene had to intervene and rescue like 90 dogs.
Oh,
or
the
something
German
to that
short hairs,
effect.
yes.
There was a place in Avella that had it was 91 dogs in a very small area. They were the conditions were just deplorable. And the animal control went in, and I don't think they expected that amount of dogs. And the lady that went in called for help, and she called Jean, and of course Jean called Sherry. So my son and I actually went out to the site, and it was just awful. It was just heartbreaking to see what these dogs were living in. They were almost all were German Shorthair Pointers. So Pet Search took in 10 of the dogs. They all needed basic medical care. Some of them had more complex problems.
And we're still dealing with one of those dogs.
So you found homes for 9 of the 10
For
that you've
9
taken?
of the
it?
10. Yes, Clyde is still with us, and Clyde still has some health issues. He's having some, he's had eye surgery, entropion surgery, because the eyelids were turned in. He had a lot of skin lesions. They all had mange. And Clyde is still having some health issues that we're still dealing with. And that's been 9 months now? 7 months?
So you won't release him until he's set to go healthy
Right.
and well?
And he also has some special needs. We have found out that he is not, he doesn't like men. He loves Kent. And maybe because Kent was the first man that probably had worked with him.
And that's often an indicator that he was abused by some men.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he has met men and has done fine for a day or two, and then just suddenly does not like them. So we know that Clyde is going to need a home where he is going to be. He can be with other dogs, not a problem. He can be with cats. He just has a great fear of men.
Yeah.
And so with that, he turns and becomes aggressive as a self-protection. So he needs a home where he's going to be with a woman.
So how do you become a volunteer for Pet Search?
Well, you through many areas, through our website, which is petsearchpa.org, through any of our events, you can come. Basically, you fill out an application to be a volunteer of whatever you can do. Some volunteers work with our adoption events. Some come and work at our fundraising events. Some don't come out at all. All they do is they make items for us to sell at our events. They're sewers or they're bakers, so they make we sell what we call our homemade dog bones. And
I think Jane Ann was doing that at some point, making dog bones.
No,
No?
I didn't never do that.
So again, you don't have to necessarily come out to any of our events or anything to be a volunteer. We have the saying that everybody brings something to the table, no matter what you can do or what your heart wants to do. Just if you like animals and you believe in what we do, then anything you do is appreciated.
Well, your organization is roughly, 30 years old?
About 35.
Yeah, it's amazing that you can continue that for 35 years.
It's a
passion.
And it's sometimes it's a challenge, and sometimes you feel, you know what, this is it. I'm done. I've told that to Sherry numerous times in frustration, not anger, just frustration. And
this show went by so quick. I missed a couple of my cues. We're at the end of the show.
Oh.
So what I have to ask you is how do I rescue a dog from you very quickly?
Go online, give us a call, and
Come to an adoption
come
event.
to an adoption event.
We're on Facebook. We're on other social medias. We have we put animals on lots of search engines such as Pet Find or Adopt a Pet, so people can look there. They can look at our website. They can friend us on Facebook and look at our Facebook page. They can come to any one of our adoption events. This is an off weekend because it's a holiday weekend. But June 1st, we'll be at the Pet Supplies Plus in Robinson Township.
Awesome.
So we'll be there from 11 to 4 with dogs, cats, puppies, and kittens.
And this cutie Damien's available?
Yes, Damien is going on a sleepover on Friday with a prospective adoptive family that has already done a meet and greet with him.
And then we have Joey
And Bailey.
And Bailey.
Yes.
Both available.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for coming and appearing on Healthy Pets, Healthy Owners. We're going to have you back here sometime in the future.
We'd love to come back. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Continue doing the wonderful work that you're doing.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Remember, a healthy pet is a happy pet, and when you're healthy, you're happy too. Remember, you can listen to us live on AM 1250 The Answer every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on my radio show, Healthy Pets, Healthy People. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. That was great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Wow.
Thank you.
That went by fast.
Thank you. It did.